the deadline for attacks on Iran tonight, and it seems like a deal is in the making. There had been talk, Mark, all day long about maybe this was happening. How do you see this, and how does it play politically here at home?
Well, I think the president had to do it if he could get terms that include an unconditional opening of the strait, which
because
it sounds
the markets
like he's gotten.
Had to look at that and say
he has to do it because, look, people are, in my latest poll, 51% support the war, 54% said it was justified, but 57% said if he could get a good deal, he should take it. So I think it's a risky 2-week period because it enables them to regroup. But on the other hand, the president, if he thinks he has a real opportunity to come out with a negotiated victory, then I think he had to do it.
A lot of people got, really energized about some of the things he posted about, annihilation, civilization. But now he's coming with this deal, Kellyanne. How do you see this big picture?
It's the 11th straight year of them in high dudgeon about everything he writes and says. He said he doesn't care about his critics, but he does care about getting peace and a just cause here. He does care about oil flowing again. If he gets a deal, the ultimate deal maker, part of how he wins these elections, Brett, then that will matter to people. There's one group that he's not mentioning at all. They're called Europe and NATO. It's really fascinating what's happened there in a short amount of time. You even have Vladimir Zelensky running around in these Gulf state countries saying, I'm not getting weapons, I'm giving them to you and giving you our intelligence for the last couple of years in this war with Russia. It's really fascinating what's happened there in short order. NATO's coming to the White House tomorrow. I think Mark Rutte, the Secretary General himself, has forged a good relationship with Trump, but the NATO countries have not, and he's not even mentioning them as part of this deal. This is all about the countries around Iran. Look, this is what we expect from presidents. You're not going to get a good deal unless you pressure, and they think that you're serious. And the same country that sent 155 aircraft in to rescue one of our airmen, if not two, just this past weekend, is a country that is going to do what it takes to keep everyone safe and to push back on the largest state sponsor of terror, but also to tell the people who are relying on the Strait of Hormuz, like Europe, for its energy, we need you to help as well.
I mean, we just did this breakdown of how much flows through that strait. It's remarkable. Our oil does not as much, but fertilizer does. It's a big part of the world economy.
Well, it's a big part of the world economy, but the U.S. could sustain a 60 or 90-day war because there's about 20 million barrels a day that we consume. $50 extra, it's about $1 billion a day, a small amount relative in a $30 trillion economy. So we could have withstood it, but on the other hand, I think the markets are going to react very well. And I think, remember that scene from Patton, where Patton goes crazy, and his aide says, the men don't know when you're kidding or when you're not. And Patton says, it's not important for them to know, it's important for me to know. Yeah. So I think we see that today, that the president was tough, he put pressure on Iran, and it looks like they're caving.
So just to reiterate, for viewers who may just be tuning in, the president has just put out a Truth Social saying that there is a deal in the works with Iran, a 10-point plan, negotiating a settlement that includes the immediate opening of the Strait of Hormuz. We don't know what the other 10 points include, but if it matches previous negotiations, that includes nuclear material, it includes a missile program that would not continue, and we don't know what it means for the neighbors. But this has to be a real breath of sigh of relief for Gulf Arab allies, especially.
That's right. And the president said this will be a 4 to 6 week war. We're still within that zone. He also last week reminded us all, Brett, Vietnam 19 years, Iraq War 7 or 8, World War II and Korea 3 years apiece. 4 to 6 weeks. I know we're an impatient country with pace of change and pace of conclusion these days, but he can claim victory. And I think the negotiated 10-point settlement, whatever it ends up looking like, this is news, as you say, starting with the Strait of Hormuz just shows everybody is serious here. And I think that this will be part of his security and affordability agenda in ways that are very important.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube. And catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
Ways to boost live. Currently only have 4 more octopi on this goal before I reset it. And make sure you're following me on the tube for when I'm taken off of this godforsaken app. The link is in my bio.
Allah forsaken.
What was that, Law?
Right? Law of the Wild.
I said Allah Forsaken.
Oh. Praise the TikTok shop, right? Right.
Janet, the only thing I'll disagree with you on is you're blaming the politicians, but I'll take great pleasure in quoting George Carlin in that politicians don't grow out of a garden or fall out of the tree. We elect them. They go to our schools, from our neighborhoods, and we elect them. And if our politicians are lying cheats, it's because maybe that's who we are or what we don't care about.
We've allowed it. You ever realize that you got taken advantage of somebody because you allowed it? We've just allowed too much. And it's going to be hard to wheel these people back. They think they don't even have to answer to us.
But we don't make them answer.
That's right.
That's the problem.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
Because we all march to the voting booth and we vote for the same people to come in to do the same things, and then we bitch when they do exactly what they've been doing all along.
Well, I mean, they don't. If if you and I had defrauded the government the way, let's just take one entity and say Medicare, our healthcare system, and we all know that our healthcare system has just been one big fraud after another. And we don't call these people out and bring them to justice, or let's just say we do bring, and they steal $3 million from Medicare, and they spend, you got a year in prison. Okay, well, $3 million, 1 year.
Are you saying we wouldn't end up getting elected to be senator of state of Florida?
You might. That may be the qualifying. In other words, we've let them get away with anything. They don't even think they should have to answer to us anymore.
I mean, it's funny that Janet mentioned it might be a qualifying thing.
Maybe it is.
Because in addition to being found to have presided over, at the time, the largest Medicare, Medicaid fraud in history up to that point, that person then proceeded to campaign and actually point to it as an asset to say, well, see, that right there, that's how I know that we've got fraud. And I know what to look for to get rid of the fraud. Like, literally spun it as an asset.
I believe you. I mean, I'm just trying to say that they don't march to the same tune. If it was you and me, we would be in big, deep trouble. They're getting like, oh, you're going to get a year in prison. Oh, okay. Whatever. They don't have to answer to the same call. They get by with cheating, money laundering. We've caught them in many, and both sides of the aisle. Have any of them even been brought up on charges?
Oh shit, I forgot his name. Gold bar senator.
Menendez.
Menendez, there we go. Yeah,
Gold bar Bob.
Poor guy. He's just not in the club.
I mean, I guess, but like that's an example of that, right? I mean, so to your point, you say that they aren't held accountable, and I mean, legally, I agree with you, right? Like they're not brought up on charges, or they get slaps on the wrist if they are. I agree with you on that, but we can hold them accountable.
We should definitely.
Well, I mean, right? We can hold them accountable by not voting for them. Like that's the thing.
No, dude. If you and I stole that kind of money, insider trading,
I understand.
Whatever they do,
I understand what you're saying. We should definitely do more. I agree, but to say that they can't be held accountable, no. You can deprive them of their job, and that really sucks. Like, because that's what gives them value, right? Because once you're out of politics, or I guess once you're out of DC, or in whatever position, office you hold, you're no longer the power person. You might go into some cushy lobby consulting thing, but you're not the person anymore. And that's what gives you value. So now you become second fiddle to whoever is in that office now. That whoever occupies that office, they are now the valuable one. You are just kind of window dressing. So doing that, will that person be able to ride off into the sunset with some big fat golden parachute? Yeah, more than likely. But also, they're not going to be continuing to screw over the American people with shady deals and power brokering.
Tammy wanted me to point out that Trump keeps pardoning all of the ones that commit fraud, including Medicare fraud. I mean, freaking George Santos is one of the prime examples. George Santos.
Well, I haven't heard of any pardoning going on yet, but
he's been pardoning up a storm.
we know that the presidents do. You know, all the presidents have done this, and so I'm not here to defend Trump at all. I'm telling you, we're all being totally duped. I mean, they uncover fraud every day.
Got raptured.
I mean, Trump's pardon czar was serving a life sentence before she got pardoned for hug smuggling, and then she recommended a whole bunch of people who were involved with the hug smuggling operations with her to get pardoned, and he pardoned a bunch of them, including the former president of Honduras.
Exactly.
Like, that one in particular is just wild.
It is wild because if
400 tons.
Yeah, I mean, but like, she was doing lots of hug smuggling, and some of these other people were smuggling by the metric ton. It seems like in order to get a presidential pardon, you can't be just transporting a small amount. You got to be, truckloads of Peruvian,
some Colombian bam bam.
It's fucking wild. I mean, could you imagine 20 years ago trying to explain to a Republican that in the future Republicans would be really lenient and pardoning, drug smugglers? I can't imagine how that conversation would go.
I mean, there is absolutely.
Well, you guys are the ones that are always defending all
there's 1,000% like a
so you
criminal?
guys need to figure out what
joke in there,
side
but
of
I'm
the
not even
aisle you're
about
on.
to try that.
To be fair, that's my job.
I know, and that's cool. I get it, but you got to
Defending which criminals,
Same lane.
Jill?
You can't just jump over and say, "Yes, we're worried about all the criminals." No, you're not.
What criminal?
You guys are always like, the criminal, he got out of office. We want to defend him.
Which
We'll pay any amount of money.
Who?
Whoever. You're not for America. You're just,
Well, give me an example of
you'll
somebody that
defend
we have.
any criminal.
Well, give me an example of a criminal that we have defended.
No, you do so.
I'm sorry.
I'm just stating a fact. You know it's true. I don't.
No,
need
I
to,
don't know it's true.
Rub it in your face. I mean, it's tough to be on your side. I'm sure.
Give me the name of a criminal that this panel has defended.
Garcia.
I'm sorry, DJ.
Garcia. Abrego Garcia.
Not once.
But,
let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you real quick.
Oh, now we're gonna get.
I
the
have
other
said
side
many
of the
times
coin.
on this panel. I have said, I think that if he has done things that are illegal, he can be deported. I don't care. What I'm defending is the Constitution. And if DJ, if you went and you committed a crime, you deserve to have your day in court and you deserve to have your rights protected. And I would defend that no matter what you did, because that's the way that's what the Constitution says. That doesn't mean I'm defending you. It means I'm defending your rights. And with Abrego Garcia, they violated his rights. And when you start violating your rights, that's a slippery slope that we don't want to go down.
Criminal, and they're like,
so it's not defending
you gotta bring him
him.
back.
But as far as I know, he's not an American.
It's
Yeah,
not.
he was-
Well, you
that
don't
was
have
the
to be an
number
American
one
to have
thing he did
rights.
wrong. And
Well,
then,
I
you know,
mean,
Hold on, Janet.
From a constitutional
Janet.
perspective, sure, but like I
Well,
wouldn't like.
then that's the point. He has constitutional rights.
I mean,
I'm going to defend the Constitution no matter who it is. I use this story all the time, DJ. I'll do it real quick. I swear to God. There was a guy that went and raped a woman and unalived her. Went to trial and was found guilty. On appeal, they said the police screwed up. And so they reversed it and sent it back for a new trial. New trial happens, convicted, goes to jail. Now, I do not defend the guy. He's a monster, horrible person. But the screw up they had mentioned in the courts is important. Because, do you know what the guy's name was?
no.
His last name was Miranda. That's how your Miranda rights were obtained, because of a freaking piece of crap, horrible individual. I don't defend that individual Miranda. I defend the constitutional rights. Same as law of the wild. I don't do it as a job. I used to do criminal work, but I don't anymore. But I'm going to sit here and speak up for the Constitution. That doesn't mean I'm defending that criminal.
Yeah, I think probably
Hold
the
on a
both of
second.
you.
I just want to interject that there was some talk earlier about patriotism, and if I could encapsulate what Barrister just said, that's probably one of the most patriotic thing that's been said on this panel in a month of Sundays.
Well, yeah, because they're probably seeing it from and which I completely understand, and also I know it's like our right, but I think like the average American is just like this guy didn't need like weeks of coverage on news networks. Like Abrego Garcia was like all over the news. It was like nonstop. It's like most people are like, who gives a shit? Just like deport them and let's move on with our lives. I get you're seeing it from a constitutional perspective, but I think the average person doesn't really give a shit about like due process with these, especially because most people think he's an MS-13 inmate, which I believe as well. So I don't believe that.
The problem is that's when constitutional.
In his own country was like, listen, this is a gang member. You
Yeah.
know, but
No, that's
these
not
guys
true.
wouldn't fight for
not
your
true.
rights like that.
That's not
They-
true.
Well, I mean, I respect your opinion, but
It's not an
that's
opinion.
Just
you
like
I think
know,
Law of the Wild was wanting to say something.
So constitutional rights are the most important against the people who the government is so intent to sidestep the rights of. It's when the people who everybody is sure that they did it, and therefore we can cut corners and we don't have to make sure that they have due process. That's when the rights are the most important. The most